Sergei Markov. He is a former MP for President Putin's United Russia Party. Now, Mr. Markov, what do you make of what happened, on Friday night? Who do you think is responsible for the death of this key opposition figure, Boris Nemtsov?
I think those who killed Boris Nemtsov, who've been my friend during 20 years, and he, by the way, teach me how downhill skis. Of course, it's very pity that he've been killed. Those who killed Boris Nemtsov, they want destabilization of Russia. For them, Boris Nemtsov is so-called sacrificing victim for organizing of anti-Putin revolution in Russia. Now, a lot of evidence show that this assassination had been organized by security in Kiev. It's all tracks led to the Kiev regime, who killed Boris Nemtsov to encourage anti-Putin revolution in Russia. There are a lot of evidence of this.
Mr. Markov, do you actually have evidence? Because obviously people have been saying things like that it's the opposition themselves, but it does sound like a conspiracy theory, that.
There are a lot of evidence. First of all, Boris Nemtsov, that moment exactly been with Ukrainian citizen woman, and she had been dressed in white and she is in black. Killer kill only Boris Nemtsov, but usually killer kill also those who nearby. Also now it became clear that this Ukrainian girl have been girlfriend of the neo-Nazi officer who is now a member of Ukrainian parliament. It's Mr. Bereza, head of the Dnipro 1 neo-Nazis battalion, which is play very important role in Ukrainian war against anti-fascist Donbass.
Mr. Markov, what do you make? You call Mr. Nemtsov your friend of 20 years. What do you make of him describing Russia today, just a few days before he was killed, again, to the Financial Times? He said, after 2012, when President Putin was elected again, we live in a different country, a country of war, of humiliated, hypnotized people, mass hysteria about annexation of Crimea, aggressive propaganda that the West is the enemy and Ukrainians are fascists, etc. Surely you can see this change in your own country right now.
Country didn't change, but environment changed dramatically. Now we see hybrid war, which party of war from Washington have against Russia for overthrowing of democratically elected and very popular president of Russia, Vladimir Putin. Ukrainians not fascist, but ultranationalist junta with neo-Nazis imposed to the Ukrainian people. Now the solution of Ukrainian crisis is democracy to Ukraine. Give freedom and rights to Ukrainian people. Federalism is solution for Ukrainian crisis. And I ask, why American politician against federalism to Ukraine?
Can I just bring it back to politics in Russia? And you mentioned, sort of fascist junta, but you know very well that any sort of far-right neo-Nazi groups in Ukraine barely got even 1% of the vote in the last election. But I want to ask you about your own country. You heard former Prime Minister Kasyanov saying that even President Putin must have been shocked by Nemtsov's death. Do you think that this shock will enable some kind of space for a legitimate opposition, for people to challenge the president legitimately and through politics? It hasn't been allowed up until now.
It's propaganda, pure anti-Russian propaganda, that in Russia there are no space for opposition. In Russia, 3 opposition parties and a lot of opposition leaders endlessly on in Russian media. Leading Russian newspapers is controlled by Russian opposition. I'm taking part in Russian TV show discussion about Ukraine and another every day. And every day we have representative of Kiev on Russian TV who protected this, defended this Kiev policy. But no one, politician or public figure or expert can go to the Kiev TV. It's because in Ukraine there are police state which terrorize Ukrainian people. And in Russia, we have freedom of opposition. Maybe it's not enough for an opposition, but
All
you
right,
know,
Mr.
in every
Markov.
country, opposition not happy about the conditions.
All right, Mr. Markov, that's the view from the Kremlin. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. We appreciate you being here.